Hi everyone, Angus Campbell here. It's Saturday the 22nd of November 2025. So I'm just beginning to do a little bit of preparation work ready for this B50 restoration that's we're going to start, well I suppose it's still officially autumn at the moment, but anyway, start later on in the winter. Probably early in the new year sometime in 2026. And one thing I thought I'd post just in a short video is some information around tanks, specifically the export tank, North American version tank on the B50SS and B50SS, because there were some variations. And what set me on this path, I suppose, was the fact that on my B50SS there's mountings for an anti-vibration strap, which there weren't on earlier tanks. And on this tank, on this B50SS, I'm not sure whether this is the original tank or not. It's still got a lot of factory paint on it, the black and the white pinstripes, but the red has been redone, not quite in the correct colour, because the flamboyant red always did fade extremely badly as per the side panel, although that's not too bad, but that is original. But what I wanted to point out on this tank is not the fact that it's in dreadful condition and we're not going to use it, but the fact that you can see the taps holes have been cut out and turned around, because I think originally the hole for the tap was here. So they've cut this plate up, turned it round and welded it back on. Now, the reason for that is because it was found that with the early production B50 machines that began in late May 71, they were very late, they found that this standard style of tank, which they fitted to both the 250 and the 500, was a problem on the 500 because the position of the taps, petrol taps, meant that on the left hand side they would sometimes clout the rocker box. There we go. The tap would be a bit about here and it would actually foul sometimes on the rocker box of the B50 head. So they modified the tanks to move the taps further backwards, which this has been done retrospectively. So what you see there is a modified tank. If we look over here, here is a slightly later tank. I've got this one up for sale at the moment on eBay because I did buy it to put on that B50 as a replacement, but it's surplus to requirements now, but I'll come on to that in a moment. This is a slightly later tank, and you can see the tap holes are at the back. But also that this tank hasn't got the vibration strap underneath. And I think that's because I think the anti-vibration strap could only be put on the 250, because as you'll see in a minute, again, that because of the cylinder head on the B50, I don't think there's anywhere where you can get the strap through, because there's all the gubbins in here, which you can't see very well, for the valve lifter. Now, the next thing you're going to say is, okay, well, where is the strap precisely? So let me show you another tank, which I managed to secure this year with the help of a true B50 aficionado. Look at this. That is a new old stock BSA flamboyant red tank in factory paint. And now it's obviously a one that was prepared and sent out as a spare, because it's not got the badges on it yet. And apparently that was because the badges were placed or positioned after the tank was put on the bike, because the tanks don't fit sort of square on, and that's why you'll see here badges looks to be at an angle, but actually this tank sits on the bike like that. So with replacement tanks, the badges were put on afterwards. But as you can see, oh, it's almost a disaster to touch it, but it's absolutely beautiful. But this one has got, as you can see, the petrol tap bosses are a little further forward, but it does have a strap. So I think that officially this is probably a B50SS tank, but I don't mind, because the early B50s were fitted, as I say, with the same tank as the B50SS before they moved the petrol tap holes, and this one is an early B50. And this is from June 71, same year as the A70 Lightning. So that might be its original tank there, with having been modified to the later style with moving the petrol taps further back. So anyway, there you go, the different styles of the same tank, so to speak, that you may come across. So just be aware when you're purchasing one of these. Just consider, as I say, straps and petrol tap bosses. The other quick thing to mention as well is that these days, when you buy a set of replacement badges, so you can see they're the correct size, they're just the gold lines. And they look great, they're fine, so I'm going to be happy with them. But technically, if you wanted to test whether or not, you know, this is factory paint or whatever, the factory badges are actually, these do include, if you like, the black filler. And it's only the holes in the B and the A that are through to the black paint underneath. What you see as black between the gold lines is actually part of the badge. So they're effectively black badges with gold lining, not just pure gold line badges. So that's interesting, but you can't get them. You cannot get them because everybody thinks they're just gold line badges, and they're not. And it is the same with the original one on the B50. In fact, you can probably see it a bit better here because the black of the badge is still gloss, whereas the original black on the tank is a bit of a mess these days. So there you go. So just some observations, and obviously some things that may help if you've got these bikes and are wondering why sometimes the tank fouls things and various bits and pieces, just while I'm prepping for the B50 and getting some parts together. In between Rob working on the Rocket 3, for which I'll have an update shortly. Anyway, this tank here is obviously now surplus to requirements, as we've got that absolute beauty. So this one is on eBay for the next few days. Anyway, that was all. Not quite short, but pretty quick for me. And thanks very much for watching. See you all again soon. Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye.